Menachos. Somebody's asking me, who's this guy that announces the share? No,
Nobody's been asking me because it's like one person.
Somebody.
Actually, there's one on right now.
Right, the same one
Naftali.
that comes and watches every day.
I think it's one that's on the whole time.
Good morning
Who knows one?
to you in Williamsburg. All right, we're holding Daf Ayin Hey Omid Aleph. 3 lines down. Chalois Boilelon Dibri Rebbe v'Chacham Morim Soilas. I see there's somebody new today, so we have to go back to the Mishnah. We had a machloikis. When do you do the blila? When do you add the second oil? First, you put oil on the bottom of the kli. You add you add the flour to the kli. Ayin hey. I'm just explaining. Chalas boilelon.
He's right.
Oh, true. Okay, fine. We'll go back to there. Thanks. Ayin daled omid beis. 3 lines from the bottom. Toru Rabbanon.
Well, I didn't know until 19 over
It says in the pasuk that you make a mincha soiles bashemen. First, you take the soiles and you put it in the oil. In other words, there was oil already in the bottom of the kli. Milamei shituuno matan shemen bekli. So from here we learn step number 1. Step number 1 is you put oil on the bottom of the vessel, and on top of that you put the soiles. Korbanecha, ligzeir shava. So in the parsha of the pasuk of Machvas, it says the word korbanecha. In the pasuk of Marcheshes, it says korbanecha. So we have a gzeir shava. Makan by Marcheshes matan shemen bekli, aflalo matan shemen bekli. So this pasuk that we just mentioned, soiles bashemen, is in the parsha of Marcheshes. How do you know that applies also to the parsha of Machvas? There's a gzeir shava. Now, umala halon yitziko ubelilo, and just like by the Machvas, there's the concept of yitziko, which is the last step of the oil. There's 3 steps in oil. First, you put the oil on the bottom of the kli. Then you take the oil and you do belilo. You mix it in with the soilas, and then afterwards you take another shem and you put it. So umala halon yitziko ubelilo, afkan yitziko ubelilo.
With some warm water.
What?
With some warm water.
Yeah. Now, Chalo is boiling Divrei Rebbe. Now we're holding the Fayin Hayom Aleph. So when exactly do you do the blila? Rebbe says you do it in the form of a challah. Once it's already baked, you do the blila. Then you add the oil to a baked bread. Milamei chenivleles toner rabbanon. Oh, so that's Rebbe. V'chamarim soiles. You do it in the form of the flour. Toner rabbanon. What's a machloikis? Rabbanon pull out a pasuk that says soilas belula. You do the belila in soilas. Soilas is flour. Milamish soilas. Rabbi Yomer chalois boilelon. You do it in the form of a bread shenemar, and he also has a pasuk chalois belulois. It's another pasuk, but it says in the pasuk that you do belila with a challah. It's already made. It's already baked. Amr loy v'aloi lachmi toida nemer behen chalois. How could that be that you're learning it literally, that you do the blila? In a challah, what about the toida breads? Toida breads are 40 breads, and over there it says chalois, and you have to do blila. The Gemara is going to explain in a minute. It's impossible physically to do blila on 40 baked breads. Yet it says chalois, so it's a raya not like you. Don't take it literally. It doesn't mean baked breads. It means before the process of baking it, you add oil. Says the Gemara. So that's the end of that. The Gemara, we're going to get back to it soon, but now the Gemara jumps in. What's the machloikis? So what is the process? Step number 1, noisin shemen bakli. Koydem la'asiyos. So you put oil on the bottom of the vessel. Unoisno, and then you put in the soilas. You have to add in the word soilas. If unoisno, you put soilas in. Then, v'nois and shemen oleh, step number 2, the second time you introduce oil is after you put the flour into the kli, you put another oil. Then ubailala. Then you mix it when, according to Chachamim, before you bake it. Vilasha, and you need it. How do you need it? Like Rashi said on Amud Beis over here, Vilasha bepoishrim. Warm water, not hot water, because chametz. Not cold water, it's not good for it. Warm water. Va'oifa, and only then, after you do the blila and the lisha, then you bake it. Upaisisa, and then you break it up into pieces, like we're going to have the whole sugya today. Whatever, what psisa means.
What comes out of this mixture?
It comes out something called a mincha.
No other mixture.
It's delicious. The kohanim get to eat the leftovers. Yeah, it's a type of bread.
It's called an oil cake.
An oil cake. Baruch atah Adonai Mechilam, sha'koyin liyebed v'roy.
Take a bite, oil spurts out.
Seidel's Bakery.
Yes, especially according to that marcheshes one where the oil is shaking inside of it after it's baked. It's
One little bite and
right. It's like a sufganiyah. Just instead of the jelly, you have oil inside, like a pocket of oil. You take a bite and it comes squirting out.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you should.
Now-
I think at our Hanukkah party this year we should have a milcha sukania.
Let's you make it. Rebbe Omer. Rebbe Omer. So we have the way you make a mincha according to Rabbanon. Rebbe Omer chalois boilelon. That you introduce the oil after it's already baked. How does that work? Shenemar chalois bluz b'shemen ketzadoisa. Nois and shemen bakli kodim la'asiyasa. Okay, so step number one is exactly like the Tanakama. First you put oil into the kli v'noisna.
To brush it on like after you bake it.
That's something else. That's something else. That we're gonna get to. That's on a rikikin you do that. That's the last thing. V'noisna. What does the word v'noisna mean? We said you put the soilus into it. V'lasha, and then you knead it again. Oh, v'lasha, and you knead it with warm water. Over here, what are we missing? We're missing the blila. Where the Tanakama said over here, the blila, they say lasha.
Second Makon Shemen also.
Oh no, that's the second, right? The blila is the second one. Va'oifa, and you bake it. Now you bake it. When there's only one shemen on the bottom of the kli, you bake it. Upaisisa, you do psisa, you break it up into pieces. V'noisen alei shemen ubayla. Then only after you baked it and you broke it into pieces, you do step number 2 according to Rebbe. You add the shemen and you do blila, and then after that, the choiz v'noisen alei shemen. Then you do step number 3. You put oil on it. Either you smear it on top, you pour it in, whatever mincha we're talking about. The koimetz, and then you do kmitza.
How you do pizza?
Oh,
It's a part of it.
no, I mean you're asking. It's big pieces.
It's big pieces.
Yeah. So whatever's sticking out, you go like this and you break it off with your finger.
Now you take a piece and you do.
We're gonna see what it is.
Why does the obstacle come say for he cooks it?
Because it has a lot of oil.
Man wrote it.
It's in a pan.
What? That's not.
It's fried. It's not really
It's
cooked.
cooked.
I mean, it's not really.
It's not really baked. It's not baked.
It's not fried in oil, it's cooked in oil.
Yeah.
This is good thing.
Derech Agav, yesterday when you asked the question, so I heard it on the video. You're more clear than I am from all the way over there. I don't know how, but
I have a secret microphone.
okay. I do watch all videos afterwards just to
But it's not Menachos. The Lula is not Menachos.
the blila part,
The Lula part is not.
right? The famous kolaroy lebila, kolaroy. But the question is, it seems like from the Gemara over there that you do have to put the oil in. The actual mixing is not makiv, but you have to put the oil in. Yeah.
You have enough oil.
Kolaroy lebila im bila makeves, but you have to put the oil in there. You can't just say, oh, I could have had oil. So says the Gemara. What the Gemara said before, it's impossible to do the oil like that, like you Rebbe. What do they mean? Now, Tosfos in Dibur Maskal Shaper Kamli Rabbanon, middle of the page, and Tosfos says, "Ki the Chazinim Tosefta the Chaza by Rebbe." We see in the Tosefta that Rebbe actually retracted his opinion. The Omar Nirim Divrei Midvarai, they have a different. Now you look at the Dibra Maskil of Tosfos. The Dibra Maskil doesn't even appear in our Gemara. It says Shaper Ka'amli Rabbanon Umayhi. So this is for our Gemara that we're just reading, and in his Girsa, the Tosfos Girsa, it says Shaper Ka'amli Rabbanon. Rabbanon said a good thing, and Tosfos even brings a Tosefta that was so good that Rebbe retracted his opinion. Umayhi, and the Gemara just says, why was it such a great question? Kaloimar meizet tam. What was the reason that Rebbe retracted? And now let's go back into the Gemara. Maihi. So what's the reason? Omer Rebbe Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchok, revi'is shemen hi. It's only a revi'is of oil. Haheich mischalekes lekamo chalois. How is it possible, says the Gemara, to use her? What's a revi'is? As we know it today, revi'is. This is not a revi'is, but this is more than a revi'is. But just so we have an idea, why do we have this kiddush cup? Because it's a revi'is of wine. There's a certain shear, whatever the shear is, it's basically this much. Revi'is, it's the same that we have today. It's what? Depends. Reb Chaim, Chazanish. But let's say this is a revi'is. Now, help me out over here with the chalos, with the cheshbon. You start off with 20 isarin. 1 isarin, we said, is a 5-pound bag of flour. 20 isarin. So there's 100 pounds here. Half of it goes off for the chametz. We have 4 types of chalas. We have chametz. So put the chametz on the side. That uses half of the flour, 50 pounds. Boom. Now we're left with 3 types of chalas. What are we left with? We're left with... No, that's what I'm saying. No, half.
You're talking about what? The toilet?
Yeah, the toilet.
You're not talking about the toilet.
Yeah, why not? We're talking about toilet. We're talking about toilet here.
No, we're not. We're talking about Menachos. We're talking about Menachos.
No, but why? He's bringing a raya why Rebbe is wrong.
That's right. No.
So what's the raya? Because we have so many chalos. We have 40 chalos. 10 of them are chametz. Get rid of that, and those chametz used 10 isarim. Time out. Let me finish the thing. The raya, his raya, mahi, is from a toida. Now you have 30 chalos. You have chalos, rikikin, and revucha. What's interesting is that half of the flour that you left over with, the 10 isarin, half of that goes to the revucha. So now you're left with? You're left with 5, basically, but it's more. Comes out, no, 10, I'm sorry. 10 isarin.
You said 20.
No, you're left with 20. Sorry, could be.
You're left with a quarter of 100. You're left with 25 pounds.
Could be something's wrong with my cheshbon because it came out that there's 3 1/3 per type of challah. So it's 6 2/3 for chalos and rikikin. So 6 1/3 isarin, which is 30 something pounds of flour, and this amount of oil. Now, what the Gemara is saying is that if they're baked, it would be impossible to do belila with this little oil because they're baked, and a baked good absorbs the oil. It has to be, even though it's very little, for 30 pounds, but it has to be that it's still flour. And Rebbe agreed to him.
It would just be to grease the pan. You wouldn't be able to take this much and put in 30 pounds of flour. It wouldn't go anywhere.
Right, it won't go anywhere. But this certainly, for some reason, doesn't go anywhere with real breads, with chalas. Fine. Let's go weiter. Hachalois tunois blilo rikikim meshicha. Ton rabbanon chalos blulois v'lo rikikim blue. No, this is a very easy kavachomer kind of sugya. It says that the chalois need blila and v'lo rikikim blulin, but the rikikim don't get blila. Shiachal v'alaydinu, I would think, is kavachomer. Right, rikikim get meshicha. You smear it like we do with the challah today. You go on top of it like this. So since they get meshicha, rikikim sheturun meshicha, and uday sheturun blila. So maybe they should also require blila. Tamaloymar chalois blulois. Only the chalois get blila, not the rikikim. And then you go on to the rikikim. You have the reverse kavachomer. V'lo rikikim blulin. Rikikim don't get blila. They only get meshicha. Rikikim meshucha and v'lo chaz meshuchos. Only Riki can get Mashiach, but not the Chal. Shiach v'lay dinu. Umay Riki can chain into Belila to Mashiach. Challah shetun is belila, and idin shetun meshicha. So a challah that gets belila certainly should also have meshicha. Talmud Leimer. That's why there's a pasuk rikikin meshuchin, veloi chalis meshuchos. Ask the Gemara, my Talmuda. In other words, it's not as simple as it sounds. My Talmuda means mehechatesa, that the Torah is coming to exclude. Maybe the Torah is coming to include. Maybe from the fact that the Torah says that chalos get belila, the Torah is coming to tell you to learn from there also to rikikin. And when the Torah says you should do meshicha on rikikin, the Torah is coming to teach us that also everything else gets meshicha. How do you know that it comes to exclude? Says the Gemara, Omarava, loy lishtamit. What does that mean? What the Gemara is saying, since it says 3 times in the Torah, the same exact order, it says it in Tetzava, Tzav and Nasai, the same exact order. The Chalois get Blila, and Rikikin get Meshicha. If the Torah didn't really mean it literally, the Torah should have switched in one of the 3. From the fact that the Torah was so consistent all 3 times, that means the Torah really meant exactly as is. Ketzad moishchon kimin ki. So now the rikikin, you do a smear on top of it, like a key. What did you tell me yesterday? That it's a chi. Ki is chi in Greek. That's what that's what the Gemara meant. Vashar nechal. So we said yesterday, Tosis brings kimin tzir bekuntris kimin tes, and then he brings that Rashi in the Chumash says it was like a gimel. He says on the side it may be like a nun. Rashi, if you look at Likutei Rashi in our Gemara, if you have Likutei Rashi, he brings an X. What's the chi? X. Maybe that's what a chi looks like. A chi is an X. Rashi himself, Bekitzer, it's not. I saw today Yaakov Mantros wrote. You know Yaakov Mantros?
She is it's
she.
She's they know these things.
When are you telling me them? Anyways, so you can tell him that I quoted him. Yaakov Mantros brought something. I saw briefly that the 3 kupos in the Beis Hamikdash also had Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Alpha, Beta, Gamma. It had the letters of Greek. And basically what he's trying to say is that it says, what's the pasuk in Zos HaBracha? Basically, it's beautiful. The Goyim have beautiful things. Yes, it could be that was it. Yeah, it could be that. Not as maybe I don't know. Anyways, Akoponim, he says that we have to use the Goyisha things, the Goyisha beauty. We have to incorporate them in Gedusha, and that's why they brought into the Beis Hamikdash, and that's why the Gemara says Kamin Ki, to incorporate that beautiful letters, and their beautiful letters we're also going to use for our purposes for Gedusha. So that kind of answers what you're saying. It's not a nun, it's a beautiful letter that's in Greek. Akoponim, it's interesting that Rashi himself, within Rashi himself, there's 3 shitas, what it actually means.
Why wouldn't I just take Why does it come in to say Kanun?
Then you wouldn't have a 5-way machlek is what it means. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Says the Gemara. Tana Rabbanan. Mincha haba mechzo chalos and mechzo rikikin. If you bring a mincha that's half challah, half rikikin, who does that go according to? Only Reb Shimon, because we hold that you can't bring half and half. So what do you do? Maybe loik shemen v'choytzeyu. You bring 1 lug shemen, you split it in half. Chetzi lechalos v'chetzi lerikikin. Half and half. Half goes to the chalos, half goes to the rikikin. V'chalos boilelon rikikin moishchan. Right. So that the halacha remains the same. When you come to challah, you have to do blila. When it comes to the rikikin, you do meshicha. So he says something different. Until now, he said the meshicha is kimin ki, and he says no. You don't do a letter; you smear the whole top of it. Ushara shemen machzira lechalos. Whatever's left over, he says, give it to the chalos. Reb Shimon ben Yehuda mishum Reb Shimon oimer moishchon kiminki. You do it as the letter. Ushara shemen nechol lakoyhanim. The rest of the oil goes to the koyhanim. Tanya yiduch. Another brayser. Rikikin aboim b'fnei atzmon. If the rocket comes by himself, maybe like shemen moishchon v'choyzim moishchon machi yichli kol hashem shebelug. Interesting halacha. You keep on doing the meshicha until you run out of oil, because one smear is not going to be enough. So you keep on doing the smear over and over and over. You don't pour it. You keep on smearing it. No, you do it one time. Says the Mishnah. Kol ha-menachos hanasis b'kli to unois pesiso. The 40 brands. Next. You pass this out. Make sure Gary gets one. He's the Balha. So the Mishnah says any mincha that's done in a kli gets psisa. So here's the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Pasois oiso pitim." Should break it into pitim. First you do psisa, then you do pitim to the psisa. Oisa is an exclusion. Dafka something. V'yotzakta is a ribuy, everything. Oleha is an exclusion. Mincha is a ribuy. Ki is an exclusion. One little pasuk, and it has all the stuff in it. Not too difficult. Says the Gemara. Toner Rabbanon lemutei mai omer apapa lemutei shtei halechem velechem aponim. Anything that's done in a kli, anything, but not the lechem aponim and the two breads that come in shvuos. Yeah, those are actually made in the
They're not made in a kli.
So let's see. Toner Rabbanon.
Keep the
Pasois oiso pitim mincha lerabois kol ha-menachos leptita. So all the way at the end of the pasuk when it says mincha, it means all the menachos. If it's all the menachos, maybe it means even the shtei halechem velechem aponim. Before you eat it, or at a certain time, you have to fold it up, break it into pieces. No. Oisa in the blue, and you see on top of it, it says in red letters, Veloi shtei halechem velechem aponim. Okay. V'yotzakto shemen. Mincha, the rabbis call ha-menachos litzika. So the word mincha comes to include everything. Maybe you should include also the minchas mafa. Tameloimar oleho shemen. So minchas mafa, what does minchas mafa mean? It can mean one or two things. It could either mean the chalois or it could mean the rikikin. That's what we were just discussing before. Minchas mafa includes two. One or the other. So which one does it include? I don't know. One of those two. Fine. So maybe rikikin I do break up. Yes, is a question. So now there's another exclusion. So we have a leoni to teach us both. The chalois and the rikikin, you don't do sisa. My Talmuda. Where do I learn it from? Maybe it comes to exclude something else, such as a minchas kehanim. Says the Gemara Merabah. Now, if you look closely, if you have the thing in front of you, so on a letter it says number 1, and on the pink one here it says 2. It's 2 exclusions. What needs 2 exclusions? Something that has 2 parts to it. Rikikin and chalois. Now, obviously, minchas koyin doesn't need 2 words to exclude it. One of these 2 would be enough. So memela, the pasuk is not talking about minchas koyin; it's talking about minchas mafa, rikikin and chalos. Haviyoy mezu minchas mafa, says the Mishnah. 10 minutes. Minchas Yisrael. Koifel echad le'shnayim u'shnayim la'arba u'mavdil. When it comes to Minchas Yisrael, you take the challah, you fold it in half, and then you take the two parts. Now it's in half. You fold that in half again, and now you have 4 parts. You want me to demonstrate? Half and then half, right? So you have 4. Umavdil, what does umavdil mean? So now that you have this line, you separate it over here. And you have this line, you separate it over here. So now you have 4 parts in your hand. How big are these parts? They're pretty big parts. And you do kmitza. Why do you separate it like that? Because you have to do kmitza. If it's whole still, it's a big bread. How can I do kmitza from a big bread? I don't know. It's the size of an isarain, or whatever the size is. You have to break it down to pieces, and from those pieces I do kmitza. Now, obviously, I'm going to have a piece that's larger than my palm in my hand. So that's what you were asking me for. So then you take your thumb, and maybe the zu'avay the kasher shebem migdash is one of the difficult avodas. You have to break it off with your thumb and your pinky.
You can't do kmitza from all 4.
just like break it into pieces and then do a kmitza?
No, you break. It tells the Torah tells us exactly how to do it. It doesn't say psisim that your mamish break into little crumbs. You break it down to 4 pieces. And the reason why you mavdil, why do you break it? Because you have to do kmitza. Minchas kohanim that you don't do kmitza to. Koifel echol l'shnayim u'shnayim l'arba. Because the Torah still says pasi soisa psisim, so you have to fold it a certain way. Ve'inu mavdil, but you don't have to break it into pieces. You can leave it as is. I guess it's some sort of pita, I don't know. It's not like a bread like we have today. Yeah. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like a lafa. Like a lafa. Minchas koyin Mashiach. The mincha of the koyin Mashiach, meaning the mincha, the chavitin that the koyin brings every single day, twice a day. Loy hayim mekaplo. What does loy hayim mekaplo mean? He wouldn't fold it. No, that's not what it means. It means he wouldn't fold it 4 times. He'd fold it 2 times. Just to get you.
And then split it. That's after.
No, you don't need to split it. Because also he doesn't eat it.
Brings half in the morning, half in the afternoon.
Oh, so thank you for bringing that up. Look at Rashi.
How do you know that Mashiach he would fold it at all?
Oh, so that's I got it from the Gemara. The Gemara says it.
No, the Gemara says Minchas Kohanim does that. Achal Shtayim La'abo.
No, the Minchas Kohen, the Mishnah talks about a Minchas Kohanim, specifically Kohen Velechel Shnayim Shnayim La'arba. Minchas Kohen, the Mishnah says specifically doesn't fold it. The Gemara is going to say he does fold it. We'll see in a second. When we get to the Gemara, Mr. Kornbluth, I'll show you. I want to show you Rashi over there. So let's see in the Gemara. We'll see in the Gemara. I just cheated a little bit. Reb Shimon Omer, Minchas Kohanim u Minchas Kohen Mashiach ein boim psisa mipnei shein beim kmitza. There's no folding at all in either of them. V'chol shein beim kmitza, that answers the question. V'chol shein beim kmitza ein beim psisa. This is the same Reb Shimon that you said a second ago that Reb Shimon would break it up. Over here, you don't even fold it. V'chol shein beim kmitza ein beim psisa. Memela, if you don't have kmitza, there's no folding. And another thing he's mechulik on, explains Rashi, v'chulam paisasam kazesin. He's mechulik on 2 things. First of all, you don't fold it at all. Second of all, the size. The size is much smaller than we said before. Not that you break it up into 4, you break it up into little kazesim. So it'd be many more pieces, much smaller, and I would understand how you do kmitza better. Well, what? Yeah, everything you makter. Right, there's no kmitza on those. Oh, you're saying Reb Shimon himself that says there's a kmitza on the kohen. Ooh, so what's the answer?
You said something that's colored, just go straight up. There's no kmitza on it.
Maybe it's a different mincha. Minchas kohen or minchas kohen Mashiach. What does Taisus say? It's such a simple kasha that you don't need Taisus for that. Ein boim psisim v'shem boim kmitza. Wow, that's embarrassing because it's one of those kashas. It's a very obvious answer, obviously. No, according to Reb Shimon says specifically in the other Mishnah that you do kmitza and you put the shirayim and it on the mizbeach. Maybe it's a different mincha. Has to be another mincha, no. He's talking about was he talking about kohen minchas kohen and not a regular? All right, Ton Rabbanon.
Where did we say that you should
Reb Shimon, the famous Reb Shimon.
No, you're talking about Minchas Chayte. You wasn't talking about.
Oh.
Right.
That's what you have to say. Okay. Shkoyach. Klotz Kasha. Thanks for the riddle. Torah Rabbanon. No, I'm just getting him back. He calls mine Klotz Kasha. No, it's more. How do you know? You have it on your phone.
The Lashon of Psisa is folding.
Nachman doesn't believe it.
Three people.
You just knocked one out.
3 people, man.
Yeah. Oh, the fourth one was you. He was watching. He's the fourth.
Eli, Psisa is the folding or the breaking up?
It depends. We said that it depends.
Lashon of Psisa.
It's folding. And something's mavdil and something is not mavdil. But psisa is folding.
Pasos on the pizza is folded.
Yeah. Posos is folding. It will just say the word posos if you open up if you look at your papers. Posos, the first time is 2, right? Loshen Rab. Tamaloi mapitim. Then it says underneath it,
Fold over into 2 or fold it twice?
fold it once becomes 2, right? This becomes 2, and fold the 2 into. How many times can you fold the paper?
8.
That's it.
Can't fold it.
Maybe it means pitim literally into crumbs. You only have the right to take this. Once you have this, you do pitim, but you don't do pitim to the pitim. The only pitim you do is to the one fold. So you're left with 2 folds, and that's it. You're not allowed to continue on. Okay, tzad minchas Yisrael koifel echad l'shnayim u'shnayim la'arba u'mavdil, and he breaks it up. This is the, I don't know if this is the Mefarish. I was missing him actually for a long time. We didn't have him. Minchas koyhanim koifel echad l'shnayim u'shnayim la'arba ve'enu mavdil. Minchas koyin Mashiach choya mekaplo. So here it says Mefurish Nachman that a minchas koyin Mashiach you do fold it. Ay vonantnan loya mekaplo. It says Mefurish Amarabba yinu mekaplo arba. If you look at Rashi, the Moisef Rashi, the top Rashi, smack in the middle almost, it says Ava Makabel Shnayim. The Kivon the Ein Elochatzi Soroin a Makabel Shnayim. You hear, Mr. Kornbluth? This is what you're talking about. Ava Makabel Shnayim, he says, the Kivon the Ein Elochatzi Soroin a Makabel Shnayim. It wasn't on purpose. It just happened to be. No, I told you I'm going to get back to this Rashi. That what? I wasn't even looking. I was looking in the Rashi. Mekabel Shnayim. Listen to this. Says Rashi, why are you Mekabel only to 2 and not to 4? The Kivin Neina Lechatzi Sar Neina Mekabel Shnayim. Since his mincha of a Kohen Gadol is only a Chatzi Sarin, he starts over the fully Sarin. He reduces it to half a Sarin for the morning and half a Sarin for the afternoon. So since he only has half a Sarin, he only gets 2. So a lot of people don't understand what's going on here. They say if you hold like the Rambam, let's say that he starts with all the breads and he splits it in the morning, so it makes sense that half a Sarin goes there. But if he started out to begin with a half a Sarin of flour, what shaykhs does it have to the shemen? Why would the shemen be less? This is what he's starting out with. Okay, fine. Just wanted to point out that he has a svara. There's a svara behind the 2 and the 4. Says the Gemara, Reb Shimon Minchas Koyanim, Minchas Koyim Mashiach, Ein Bohem Psiso. Reb Shimon holds there's no folding at all when it comes to the Minchas Koyanim because there's no Kmitza, there's no Psiso. What doesn't have Kmitza? The Minchas Koyanim. What does have Psiso according to Reb Shimon? Minchas Chayta. Omer Rav Yosef. Hai Chavitzo. Oh, now we're going to Sugya of Brachas. This tafshil, it's a cooked food that one of the ingredients is bread. This perurim kazayis. It has okay. It has large pieces of bread.
Like they see big chunks.
Yeah, kazayis, a nice size. A kazayis is what we make a birkas hamazon on, or kazayis. When it comes to food, it's a kazayis. Mevarchinu alei hamoytzi lechem min haaretz. Iles bei pirurim kazayis. So this is the chiddush of Rav Yosef, which the Gemara is going to have some trouble with. He holds that if it has less than a kazayis, if these pieces in the tafshil are less than a kazayis, then it loses its hamoitzi status. It starts off with hamaitzi. Since you broke it down to less than a kazayis and you cooked it, then it's now. Wait a minute, not matzah meal. Because if you take a bread and you break it down to less than a kazayis, then of course you have to say hamaitzi. But because it's a tafshil, you're cooking it, and the pieces are less than a kazayis, because it's a cooked item and it's less than a kazayis, then you don't make hamoitzi according to Rav Yosef.
Are you talking about the totality? Are you talking about the totality?
No,
of the bread?
no. Each piece, even though the totality has more than kazayis, but the pieces are smaller than a kazayis, then they lose their chashivas of hamoitzi. Now it's considered cooked grain, whatever it is, and it's some zoinus.
If it's baked, not.
That's something else. A chavitza is a tafshil. Yeah, if you bake it, then it makes it stronger, maybe.
Same thing with bread.
Omer Rav Yosef ben Amin Allah, how do I know it? Listen to this raya. How do I know it? The sanya hoya oy medu makriv menachos. I like what he said. Some sort of those kugels that are made out of, you have leftover bread. You don't want to throw it out, so you make a challah kugel. So, but it's mam shetafshel, but that's baked a little bit. Yeah.
Matzah bread.
Matzah brai. Okay. How about French toast? That's
Where would you make it up?
So. We personally, I don't know about everybody else, but if you deep fry it, meaning you put like a lot of oil, like you do schnitzel, not just to cover the, and the pieces are less than a kazayas, we make mezainis. You also do. Exactly. Yeah. Because now you're cooking the bread and it's less than kazayas. Yeah, that's mamish this. I didn't know that everybody does that. I know we do it, and it becomes an issue. Like my father used to tell my mother to make sure that they were less than kazayas, so that you don't have an issue later on of whatever. We're gonna have according to Rabbi Yosef, it comes out of what?
Why does there be a lot of oil?
Because no, if it's just like the pan on the bottom, so it's not cooking. It's not to stick. I'm talking about mamish. Yeah, it's very good. Omer Rav Yosef, how do I know? Listen to this raya, Rabbi Yisai. The Sanya Hoyoy Medu Makriv Menachos b'Yerushalayim. He's bringing a mincha in Yerushalayim. Interesting lashon, Yerushalayim. It should really say in the Beis Hamikdash. Maybe that's what it means, or maybe it's coming to give us a chiddush. We'll see soon. Oimer Baruch Shechiyonu v'Kimonu. Unbelievable halacha, which is very important halacha. Let's jump down to Rashi for a second. The real Rashi on the bottom. Hoyoymed says Rashi, and this is a riddle. I'm going to ask you a riddle. Hoyoymed koyin sheloi hevi mincha b'shanazu. Who says the Shechiyanu, says Rashi, a koyin that didn't bring a mincha this year? It's his first mincha. Lishnach Rino, Yisrael sheloi hevi mincha miyamav. A Yisrael that never brought a mincha in his life.
Wow.
What's the difference between the two Lashonos? Why does Rashi start off saying a koyin this year? That means once a year he gets to say it. And then all of a sudden, when it comes to Yisrael, he says, you don't say Shechianu. Once in your lifetime, you get to say Shechianu. One time.
He comes twice a year.
So what? But Yisrael also comes twice a year. Yisrael could come 20 times a year. How come it says in Rashi he only brings once? So for that, let's see. Maybe we have an answer in Tosfos. I didn't see that they're really speaking about it. I think it's Pashut. Let's see Tosfos. And that's what he was saying now. The new guy. I don't know your name. Shalom Aleichem. V'nir lefarish. Look at Tosfos. Haya oimeru makriv menachos b'Yerushalayim. You see this? V'nir lefarish.
He wants to say his name.
What's your name? Shimshon. Shalom Aleichem. Shimshon. Shimshon what? Feder. All right. V'nir lefarish. We do this is the initiation. Every new guy gets embarrassed the first day, and then if you, nice job. V'nir lefarish. You see, Rabbi, you have the Tosfos. Hoya oimeru makriv. V'nir lefarish the lefi shahoyu mishmaris mischachis mischazim b'pamayim b'shana. Very important Tosfos. The mishmaris, we said, there's 25 mishmaris. That means that each mishmar got to see the Beis Hamikdash twice a year. Ulekol mishmaris hoyu batei avos nimtza shelo hoyu makrivim el shnei yomim b'shana. Each mishmar that came every half a year only got one day for that week. Uzman kavua lahem la'akiv lechatzi shana yom echad lefichach mevarach hazevach v'amincha shechiyon l'zman hazeh. What does Tosfos say? Tosfos says as follows. You know, on Rosh Hashanah we make a bracha on the shofar. Shechiyon v'kimon l'zman hazeh. If it's a zman kavua, every year at the same time we make a bracha. Says Tosfos, the mishmaris were every year at the same time. is 24 mishmaros twice a year.
Well, leave you.
And his mishmar, I don't know, and his mishmar came once a week, so he got it once a day. He broke his mishmar, he got 1 day a year, or 1 day every half a year. So Mamela, every half a year, he says Shechiyanu because it's Kavua. Now let's go to what Rashi said before. Hold on. Right. Where does this Fine. Now, let's go back to Rashi. Rashi is talking about a kohen that he has his man kavua, so his man kavua, he makes a bracha every year. But a Yisrael doesn't have his man kavua. Rashi sticks in another chiddush here, l'chayra. Rashi is saying, every Jew, the first time he performs a mitzvah, regardless of what the mitzvah is, regardless of the time of the year, he makes a bracha. So a Jew that does kisui adam, he makes a shechiyanu. Shechiyanu gimanu. As at the shechita thing, everybody's making shechiyanu. They give him a little bit of dirt, and they spread it on the blood. Shechiyanu gimanu to make this bracha. What about shechita l'mashal? You don't make shechiyanu because it's a hezek for the animal. But other mitzvahs, any other mitzvah that you the first time in your life that you do it, you make a shechiyanu. Let's go weiter so we can finish. Hold your questions for a second. Hold on. Usnan. V'kulon pesison b'kezayis. So it says by us that you take the mincha and you make a shechiyanu, and you make it with broken pieces of a kazayis. In other words, this goes according to Reb Shimon. And Memela, we have a kasha. So Rabbi Yosef is bringing a raya. You make hamoitzi because it has a kazayis. It might have bigger pieces, but it has a kazayis, and that's how he knows that you make hamoitzi. Remember the shita. Rabbi Shmuel holds that you break it down all the way. Take the bread, make it into flour, back into flour. He doesn't make hamoitzi. And if you're going to say you don't make hamoitzi on something that's flour, it says benuget to Hilchos Pesach. Likeit mikulon kezayis v'acholoi. He took from the 5 minim, and he made a matzah, or he made chametz. Depends. Im chametzu or shkares. If he took from the 5 minim, and from all 5 minim he has 1 kezayis. What does that mean? That each piece is less than a kezayis. But here's the chiddush here. In matzahu, you see that it's bread, because by matzah says lechamoini, so it has to be bread. And I'm considering 5 small pieces as 1 piece of bread. 5 pieces that make up a kazayis are called a bread. Says the Gemara, you have to say b'she'ir son. Over here by Pesach, it's talking about that he made a whole dough out of it. So why does it say b'lashon rabim? He ate them. It's 1 dough. So look at Rashi real quickly. Rashi says the Moisef Rashi. He says unbelievable. The Moisef Rashi says that the bread is still in front of us. Comes out unbelievable chiddush according to this Rav Yosef, according to this Moisef Rashi.
I can't rip off a piece less than a
More than that, on Lela Seder, in order to be Yotzei Kazayis, you have to have a giant Rav Yosef matzah. They sell them now. It says on the box, L'chumras Rav Yosef. They're the size of this table, and every time you take a bite out of it, you still have a kazayis left over on the matzah. Because if you're going to break down your matzah and say, hey, you get this kazayis and you get this kazayis, the second you take a bite out of it, it's not a kazayis anymore, and there's nothing choshev anymore, so then you're not to the kazayis, it comes out according to Rashi. Moisef Rashi. Moisef Rashi says that you have to have leftover kazayis. The source has to still have a kazayis as you're eating a kazayis. No.
2 minutes.
Right, exactly. It's not a kazayis. My havala. So what's the bottom line? Rav Sheshes Omar is mechulag on Rav Yosef. Afilu pirurim she'ein b'em kazayis. He's mechulag on Rav Yosef that says that you need a kazayis. He says even crumbs that don't have a kazayis. Omar Rava v'hu de'ika toirisa denahama alayu. They have to look less than a kazayis. Has to look. Oh, you like that? It's a big sugya.
Famous name.
You need the shape, the tsura of a bread. Rashi says that if you soak it in water, then it loses its shape. Even the color, some people say that the water turns white, so mamish doesn't look like bread anymore. However, if that's less than a kazayis, but more than a kazayis, even if it doesn't look like bread, still it's hamaitzi. Less than kazayis has to look like bread. If it loses its tzura of bread, then it's not a kazayis. We'll see more of it, Be'ez Hashem and brachas.
What's new on the bread front?
No, I think we're done with that. So